get there and get what you want immediately. As I've heard before in a Tony Robbins book about money, playing the game, or that book that he came out with, he discussed about how people who made millions of dollars went broke, but those who gradually made it last. It's developing habits. It's developing knowing what you could do towards a setback. Everybody has setbacks in life, and they'll come after you. Rather it's creditors, scam artists, you name it. Everyone wants a piece of your pie. Everyone wants that. They don't care how much. They don't care if you paid that payment before, if you're working towards it. Some of these scam artists want that money. And you may be trying to be on your best behavior, but these setbacks happen. And what do? They have your information. They can take out money at any time that they do it. Which is not right. And I'll tell you, life is full of setbacks. But it's knowing how we could actually come back from those setbacks. Not letting the best get to us. When we do things, we do it gradual. We don't do it full force. We pace ourselves. Life is a pace. And when we get there, and we will get there, it's going to be beneficial. Now, after the break, I'm going to discuss a little inspiration and what we could do dealing with setbacks, life, and everything else. More after I get back.
How do you save money? In my first book, I taught you why we go broke. If you read my book, you understand that there are many ways we can go broke, and you will understand that you need to understand about saving money, or at least not spending more than you make. If you're picking up this book because you need more tips on how to reinforce your saving skills, then this book is for you. I first want to tell you my story and enforce to you why saving is important. I didn't take the advice when I was younger. I read a book that said at least 10% needs to be saved for retirement or to be saved in The Richest Man of Babylon. There is one major rule with saving money, and that is you want to spend less than you make and have your money work for you. Many people feel the 401k or Social Security will be good for them, but that is not enough. This is why the second rule is having your money make more money. What happens if there are problems? Let's say you get laid off from your job, your car breaks down, or something in your house breaks down. There are cases where you need an emergency fund saved up. There are many tricks in saving money, and there are many tips to put your money aside for a rainy day. The trick is not to touch it and let it build up. There are more tips. I only gave you a few. It is only up to you to do this. One final tip along your saving travels, and that is you can live your life day to day, or you can plan for the future and relax a little.
That was Saving, How to Save Your Money, written by Joseph Evaldi, narrated by Ken Aiken, and that is now available on Audible Amazon, and iTunes. Back to the podcast. I'm going to discuss a little bit about that audiobook that I mentioned before the podcast, and it is typical of what we go through with setbacks and worry. One of the major things we worry about is money. We worry about finances. We might not have a plan. We might not have that much money. We're working on a little. What do we do? Well, it's tough. It's not easy. That's where setbacks and that's where worry happens. But we could work to make an extra income. We might have talents we're sitting on that we don't know about, but we do it. But we might have somebody that's helping us out towards our goal. They may be working on their dreams, or they might not know what their dreams are, but they're working on something. They could develop something. And that's what life is about. Life is about working on your dreams, dealing with the setbacks, dealing with the worry, and knowing how to face it, and staying focused. And this is going to be the message that I want to leave at the end of the podcast, and that's staying focused. We deal with lots of stress on a day-to-day basis. We have to take care of this, we have to take care of that, and all of us is going through anxieties left and right. But we could face what we need to face on a day-to-day basis. And we could face those stresses. And we could face it by approaching life on a way to live basis. And we approach it by preparing us for those needs that are needed, like an emergency fund. Preparing for what we need by producing everything we need so our crops are going to be good. It's planning. Life is strategy and planning. If we're not prepared, if we're not ready, those stresses are going to affect us. And we might not be able to deal with the calamities that come. Many are not prepared. Many are not taught to be prepared. Many feel that they could get by life and not deal with the stressors. And then stressors kill them. There's heart attacks every day because many can't deal with the stress of life anymore. But it doesn't have to be like that. It takes planning, health, eating right. Doesn't have to be splurging out on a diet. You can pace yourself every day. Everything in life is planning, and you need to be focused where you go. So don't let life happen to you. Take life and live life. And don't worry about life and the setbacks. Make life the best that it can be. This has been the Joseph Evaldi Podcast. Please check out my blog at www.josephevaldi.net, and I will discuss about self-help. These topics that I'm discussing in the blog, and also now we are discussing about cats and animals. It's my fiance is writing about. Have a good night. This has been the Joseph Evaldi Podcast.